Hey everybody, welcome back. This is going to be a little bit of different type of video content than we normally do. Usually we're reacting to shows and movies, but this is something that's been on everybody's mind, including mine, where we've been, I think most of the US at least has been engrossed with this trial between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. It's been, God, what is it, 7 weeks or something now? So we're finally to the closing arguments. These happened on last Friday. There's supposed to be a verdict at time of recording for the very next week. So this will be for, I'm recording this on Memorial Day. So tomorrow is supposed to be when this verdict is supposed to come out. Wanted to haven't seen the closing arguments yet. So this will be my first time seeing them. So far, I don't know, man. I don't know how Johnny Depp would lose necessarily. I mean, he certainly has won, you know what I mean? But without going too much into it, I guess, at the risk of just rambling, but essentially this trial has been going on for anybody that doesn't know, and it has been a long and drawn out process of, at least in my opinion, what I've seen so far, evidence versus non-credible evidence, right? Where it's been a lot of things just don't line up, and even disproved in court about evidence that Amber Heard has submitted, and it's not been good. She comes off very unhinged at a lot of points. A lot of the evidence kind of has pointed to her being the initiator of a lot of the allegations that she has brought forward, and at least in my opinion, it's felt very much like she has put herself in Johnny's shoes for a lot of the stories, and it's very bizarre. Anyways, I feel like we should just get into it. This is going to probably be long, considering that I'm just going to be doing the entire this will probably be in parts, but this is going to be for Johnny's side is going first for the day. So we're going to listen to, I believe, Camille Vasquez, one of his attorneys, giving her closing or the team's closing arguments to the jury. This is going to be good for anybody that also has not really seen it, and you're just kind of like, whatever. And this was kind of a cool place to just, they give you the whole review in the closing argument. So if you didn't want to waste your time going through a bunch, hours and hours and hours, if you weren't keeping up with it, I'll just say, if you've seen some memes from the trial, that also pretty much has summed up the experience, to be honest. And hopefully this is insightful for many who either didn't know this was really happening or didn't really care to dedicate all that much time. I'm right there with you, but I can't escape it. My entire family is watching it. So here we go. This is going to be the closing arguments from Johnny Depp's side, and then we'll do Amber Heard's side, and then I believe there's rebuttals maybe, but we'll see how this video does. I'm mostly just feeling it out. But yeah, here we go.
But what was happening behind closed doors was quite different from what Ms. Heard presented to the world. The exact opposite, in fact. There is an abuser in this courtroom, but it is not Mr. Depp.
Oh,
and there is a victim of domestic abuse in this courtroom, but it is not Ms. Heard. The evidence presented at this trial has shown that Ms. Heard is in fact the abuser, and Mr. Depp the abused. As you heard from Mr. Depp and multiple other witnesses that testified under oath at this trial, Mr. Depp experienced persistent verbal, physical, and emotional abuse by Ms. Heard during
the relationship. Bit of an understatement, to be honest.
And when the relationship was over, Ms. Heard inflicted the greatest and cruelest injury of all. She publicly and falsely named Mr. Depp as the abuser. Ms. Heard never thought she would be held accountable. Never thought that she would have to face her abuser. She never thought she would have her supposed mountain of evidence vetted. She never thought that Mr. Depp would tell you, the jury, and the world that he was the real victim of domestic abuse. She said it in her own words.
She did, for anybody that hadn't seen it.
Tell people that it was a fair fight, and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and yes. It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
I'm sure a lot of you have heard that. Yeah. Go ahead, Johnny. Tell the jury. Go ahead and put it in front of a jury and see how many of them side with you, a man. Yikes.
Anytime anything goes wrong in a split, I feel like it's your first thing. And it's unnecessary. It's not always you're splitting because there's blows or because there's yelling or anything. You split most times when I'm still speaking in this volume and nothing has been thrown or hit or anything.
You split even when I'm talking softly. Like I haven't even, like nothing's been thrown, hit, or whatever. Like she's saying this like that's like you've left when those things have happened, but like the fact that you leave when those haven't happened yet, like that's what the implication of like a lot of this stuff has been, where it's like, Johnny, I'm not even, like, you always run away and it makes me crazy. I can't stand it when you leave, kind of deal. It's really wild.
You saw the barrage of text messages she would send when he would leave, calling him a monster for doing so. You heard from witnesses like Travis McGivern, Tara Roberts, and Debbie Lloyd that Ms. Heard would clod Mr. Depp, block the elevator, throw a punch when Mr. Depp tried to separate himself from the fight. And you heard from Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's couple therapist, Dr. Anderson, that Ms. Heard reported that when Mr. Depp would leave to de-escalate a fight, she would strike him to keep him there because she would rather be in a fight than have him leave.
Are they going to play the audio?
You heard from Mr. Depp about how often Ms. Heard would berate him, insult him, and physically attack him, including one of the most serious occasions when Ms. Heard threw a vodka bottle at Mr. Depp, severely injuring his finger, and then put a cigarette out on his face. You heard from Mr. Depp that this whole incident in Australia started because Ms. Heard was enraged that Mr. Depp wanted a post-nuptial agreement, and she wasn't in his will, just a month after getting married. When her husband was seriously injured and bleeding from a partially amputated finger, what did Ms. Heard do? She pursued him. She kept coming after him, because that's what she does. She wouldn't stop.
It's not to get you mad. It's just to get out of a bad situation that's happening before it gets worse. In Australia, when we had the big fight where I lost the tip of my finger, at least 5 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms I went to
avoid talking to me, to avoid
escape
working it
the-
out. That's
to
the
escape
problem.
the fight.
To avoid working it out. That's what you do. Hang on.
To avoid talking to me, to
To
avoid
escape
working it
the-
out.
To avoid working it out is how Amber characterizes it, and Johnny, to escape the fight. Do you see, like, this is like, that right there is a good characterization of how the trial is, where I truly believe that Amber thinks that he is abusing her by leaving. Like, I think she actually believes that, right? And she needs to handle her issues, obviously, but you can't ruin the guy's life. Like I feel like it's a mixture of I think she's not, like, all those things she's done are horrible and she needs to pay for it, is basically all I'm going to say.
She wants you to believe that instead of hitting her after a year of magic, Mr. Depp was hitting her immediately.
Yeah, it's so
The good
odd.
times she has testified to about repeatedly in the past apparently never happened. And with the good times erased, Ms. Heard wants you to believe that she gave Mr. Depp a big knife that said, hasta la muerte, until death.
Yeah, it's a
to
big
the
knife.
man who supposedly would get drunk and high and beat her.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a gift you should give your abusive boyfriend or husband.
Ms. Heard's testimony about what occurred in Australia just doesn't add up. That's because there was a monster in that house in Australia, but it wasn't Mr. Depp. It was Ms. Heard. Other than Ms. Heard's testimony, all the evidence you've seen in this trial shows that it was Ms. Heard who attacked and grievously wounded Mr. Depp when she threw a vodka bottle at him, severing his finger. Mr. Depp told Dr. Kipper that when Dr. Kipper arrived to treat Mr. Depp's finger. You've seen the pictures of the bar area in Australia with the broken vodka bottles on the ground and trails of blood drops on the floor and a bloody tissue on the floor. You've heard from Ben King that the tip of Mr. Depp's finger was found in the same bar area. And you heard from Dr. Gilbert that the injury to Mr. Depp's finger could have been caused exactly as he described. And interestingly, you heard from Christina Sexton that Ms. Heard told her that Mr. Depp injured his finger while swinging a bottle around. Not smashing a phone, as Ms. Heard surmised in this courtroom, but swinging a bottle around. You also heard from Ms. Sexton that Ms. Heard first told her about the bottle rape in Australia while Ms. Sexton was at Ms. Heard's home, meeting with her lawyers, the day before Ms. Sexton was scheduled to be deposed in this case.
Like, you guys see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there's a lot of things that you're just like, okay, that could be nothing. But I'm thinking about this, and there are actions, not things that, like, outside, because again, her actions have spoken louder than her words. And that's the part that's so weird and just, I can't, like, I don't know. I can't see anybody going, oh yeah, after hearing everything and logically coming to the conclusion that everything that she's saying is believable. Even if you said, like, okay, I'm not going to say that everything that Johnny's team, or not believe everything that Johnny has presented, but at the same time, I at least have something to believe on Johnny's side versus I don't have much. I can't even remember, I'm trying to think, I can't even remember something that felt credible that didn't contradict or change during the course of this 7-week-long trial.
And then we have May 21st, 2016. Ms. Heard testified that Mr. Depp threw a phone at her face, causing a visible injury. Ms. Heard has shown you pictures she claims to show this injury. But these photographs are not to be trusted. You heard from Mr. Neumeister that, like many of the photographs Ms. Heard has presented in this case, these photos were stored in a photo editing application. And these photos show signs of manipulation.
Two different photos. Keyword is different. Do they look different to you?
These two photographs were taken at the exact same time and have the exact same file name. But they are visually different. One shows significantly more redness on Ms. Heard's face than the other, which doesn't show any injury at all. Ms. Heard testified that the difference is explained by turning on a light. But there is no way Ms. Heard could have taken a picture,
Turn on the light, what? In light effects?
and then taken another picture with every hair in the exact same place within the same second.
I don't know if y'all have seen the video of them transposing it. Yeah, it's the same photo.
It's impossible.
It's when you're trying to fabricate evidence to build your case, that's not
Moreover,
you
heard from multiple witnesses, including Officer Melissa Sines, Officer Tyler Haddon, and Officer William Gatlin, Isaac Baruch, Alejandro Romero.
Yeah, the on-site officers also
on
testified.
or after May 21st, and saw no injuries to her face before she showed up to that courthouse with a mark on May 27th. And the very next day, after Ms. Heard walked into court with what appeared to be a bruise on her face to obtain a domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Depp, Ms. Heard was photographed laughing with her best friend, fresh-faced, with no bruise on her face.
Yeah, you see how there's like... That's the part that's so ridiculous. Is there's like she has no photos of the injuries when it happened, and then like the day after the alleged incident, there's photos like these. Completely fine. There's no visible bruise. Completely happy. It's so, it almost feels like, again, like it feels like this photo to me is like, haha, we're getting away with this. You know what I mean? Like it's so gross.
But this case doesn't come down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp. This case comes down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp, Christy Dombrowski, Sean Bett, Malcolm Connolly, Travis McGivern, Starling Jenkins.
I love what she's doing.
Keenan Wyatt.
This is a beautiful way to phrase it.
Nurses Debbie Lloyd and Aaron Fillotti, Tara Roberts,
Amber
Ben
versus
King,
the entire
Kate
trial.
James, Kate Moss,
Everybody's wrong.
Dr. Colber,
But Camille, everyone's
Morgan
lying.
Knight,
Everyone's
Morgan
lying, Camille.
Tremaine, officers Melissa Sines,
All of the officers are in
Tyler
on it.
Haddon,
They all love
Officer
his
William
movies. They all
Gatlin,
watched Pirates. You're
and
all
Beverly
lying.
Leonard.
I'm a woman.
What Ms.
I'm a
Heard
survivor.
testified to in this courtroom is the story of far too many women. But the overwhelming evidence and weight of that evidence shows that it's not her story. It's not Ms. Heard's story.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We're gonna hear Shoes, which is probably gonna go over some of it in his too. But let me know what y'all think. I mean, I just look at it this way. I just don't see how you could, like, I don't even have to believe Amber. I have to believe the evidence that I have to show that there's reasonable doubt that either that something happened, right? But basically everything. I'm trying to do it where it's not just like a paraphrasing, but everything doesn't add up. For almost pretty much every claim that she has put forth in my mind that's memorable to me is not credible, has not stuck, has not felt like it's representing the narrative that she has painted for the jury, right? Like all the evidence that she's presented and all the people that are supposed to be on her side corroborating these stories, they just don't. Like I don't know what to tell you. For anybody that hasn't watched, I really recommend you go, listen to some recaps or whatever, get the short versions, because that's really all you really need to hear. But my goodness, I just like Camille said, it's Amber versus like 50 people. And Amber's defense, for the most part, in the back half of this trial has been, well, they weren't there, they wouldn't know, right? Don't believe them, they actually don't know what's going on. Only believe me, because I was the one that was there. That's not a strong argument to make someone believe you when someone has, well, what about these pictures? But based on your events, this didn't happen, and this person is lying, and the LAPD are in on it, and your joint physician is lying, and all right, that's all I got. The Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial is going to be closing out. I'm sure the verdict is probably already in, but I'm going to be recording this before that happens, so we'll see. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching. I know this is different, but yeah, I appreciate it. This is just on my mind, so I'll see you guys in the next one.